Today, class, we want to talk about evaluating expressions. All right, to evaluate expressions, basically, it's just a substitution problem. Okay, here's an example. Like example 1 is 7x plus 5, where x is equal to 10. So you're basically just taking the 10 and you're subbing it in for x, but before you sub it in, look at the problem and see what's happening where the x is. That's a 7 sitting right beside the letter x, which means multiplication. So that's 7 times 10. That way when you sub it in, you'll know what you're supposed to do. Now, once you sub it in, you use order of operations. So do you do multiplication first or addition? Well, you do multiplication first. So 7 times 10 is 70, plus 5 is 75. And that's the answer. Okay, so here is an example for you to do. 6x plus 5, do it over here, 6x plus 5, where x is equal to 12. Okay, so remember, you're going to sub this 12 in. I'm going to pause and let you try this one. Okay, so did you get 77? All right, that's right. All right, so the next example we want to look at is x squared plus 5x minus 3. X squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay, and we want to say that x is equal to negative 6. All right, so let's don't let this trick you. You go and sub the negative 6 in everywhere you see an x, okay? So it's going to be negative 6, and we're squaring it, plus 5 times negative 6. You might want to put that in parentheses so you know to keep it together, and then minus 3. So, order of operations, you always do exponents first. A negative times a negative is a positive, right? And then 6 times 6 is 36. So that's a positive 36. Okay, now we've got 5. Don't put your plus sign yet. Look at what's going to happen here first. 5 times a negative 6. Well, positive times a negative, remember, and you could put this into your calculator if you need to, but a positive times a negative is a negative 30. So it's 36 minus 30, and then minus 3. Okay, so now that it's only adding and subtracting across, or rather it's just subtracting left, just go from left to right working it. So 36 minus 30 is 6, minus 3, which is 3. Okay, so here is an example for you. Okay, it is x squared plus 4x minus 7, where x is going to be negative 5. X is equal to negative 5. Okay, so that's what you want to sub in. All right, so I'm going to pause this and you try it. Okay, so if you got negative 2, you got the right answer. Look at this quickly. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25, but 4 times a negative 5 is a minus 20. And then minus 7. So 25 minus 20 is 5, and then minus 7 is a negative 2. Okay? Let's do one more example. Okay? Example 3, is negative 2x squared plus 5xy, a little bit different, minus y squared, where x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 2. So just we want to sub those in. We want to sub this in for x, this in for y, this in for y. So here we go. So it's a negative 2, parentheses, x is 4, so we're going to square the 4, plus 5 times 4, and then y is 2, then minus 2, and we want to square it. Okay, so let's do this. First of all, we want to take care of exponents, right? Remember, a lot of you try to do negative 2 times 4 and then square. That's not what this says. This says negative 2 times 4 squared. So we have to do the exponent first. Do not forget that. So negative 2 times 16 plus, all of this is multiplication, so we can go ahead and do this. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. And then 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, let's keep going across. Now we have some multiplication here, we have some addition, and we have some subtraction. So the multiplication, a negative 2 times 16 is a negative 32 plus 40 minus 4. Okay, so negative 32 plus 40 is really 40 take away 32, but you can put this in your calculator. That's why we stress that you really need calculators. And that's going to be 8, and 8 minus 4 is 4. Okay, so let's give you an example. Okay, so I paused it just a second to write down your example, and I want you to pause it and try to work this problem out where x is 5 and y is 6. Sub those in. So you'll sub the x in there. You'll also sub the x right there. You'll sub the 6 in for the y and the 6 in for the y. Okay, so real quick, see if you got this answer. You sub in your 5 in these two spaces, your 6 is in those two spaces, and you always square first, so that's 5 times 5 is 25, and then it's negative 3 times 25, which is negative 75. Here you subbed in your 5 and your 6, so 4 times 5 is 20, and then 20 times 6 is 120, and then here it's minus 6 times 6 is 36. So then you can just, literally you can put this straight in your calculator, but I did it one step at a time. I did negative 75 plus 120 is 45, and then I subtracted 36 from it, and I got 9. So that's the end of the story. Thank you.